Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well and all having a lovely day. So today we're going to be making another family home, of course, and this home is built for 5 Sims and 1 pet cat. I haven't done one for a pet in a very long time, which I still didn't add much for the pet, to be honest, which I really probably should just start adding more for them, bless. But anyway, so this home is for 2 parents and 3 daughters. 2 of them are twins and they're teenagers and they have a little sister. So I think this home has quite a British feel to it. That wasn't my intention, it wasn't made purposefully for that, but after making it, it felt very European to me. Then is what I usually see when I'm walking or driving around. It's usually the style that I see about the place. So I wasn't sure what colour scheme I wanted to go for, and I did all of that off camera because it's usually something I spend way too long picking and choosing between. So I went for this colour scheme in the end. It's kind of like a browny, beigey kind of vibe. So I started working on the driveway, and for once I actually did use the terrain tool instead of just leaving it without any lead up to the garage and it just being a flat piece of land. And there's no possible way a car could go in there, even if we did have cars. I mean, we do have cars, but functioning cars, shall we say. So I added in this little slope up to the pretend garage. Added in the trees, which I usually do off camera, but I thought I'd include it for today. I didn't add too much detail to the outside, and I think it turned out quite nicely. I didn't want to add too many flowers, but then I thought, well, it needs something. Had to always have those shaped hedges. Had to be. Can't not. So I thought, oh, well, I haven't done anything but these flowers before, so I thought, well, we'll try red, shall we? So I started to add some red landscaping and some white, and I thought it tied in really nicely together, and it's not something I use very often, which is what I'm trying to spend more time doing, is using colours that I'm not used to like using in my builds, because I always make them look the same, and like if I'm going to be doing a lot more builds and for YouTube, I don't want them all to look identical. Because that would just be silly and what would be the point, eh? So I thought I'd use red, which is different from what I normally do. I usually just like my simple beige and whites and greys. I don't know whether I filmed this. I think I did, but I spent a very long time trying to get this car to be flat on the ground. Oh yeah, of course I skipped it. I spent literally forever trying to get it to stay flat. But because it was on that slope that everyone seems to tell me that I need to add, otherwise you can't get in the garage, then it would not go flat to the ground. But we got it to work in the end. So, moving on from my little rant, I'm now working on the back garden. I didn't want to add too much stuff to it, same as my other builds. I quite like them being fairly empty, but still having enough stuff that's usable for your Sims. So I added in this little seating area with a barbecue and a pool and some toys for the children, well, child and teens. I mean, they can swing too or swim. Yeah, so it's quite a simple exterior. I didn't put any flowers back here, I don't think. I think the mum was way too busy with all of her interior, because I imagine the mum being an interior designer, and she just has a thing about red, so when she's at home, everything's red. So I'm moving on to the interior now, and this is my floor plan. I did struggle a little bit with the floor plan. As I say, I don't really follow anything, I just kind of roll with it once I've made the exterior. I did have quite a small room that I eventually turned into the dining space, but I wasn't really sure what to do with that in the beginning. But I think the floor plan turned out nicely, and there's enough space for all of the children, and there's enough bathrooms. I think there's 4 bathrooms, which is quite surprising because it's not that big of a house, but there's 4 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms. That turned out well, didn't it? So We're moving on to the kitchen next. Now I was going to do this all red and I thought that's probably going to be a bit overwhelming, and I know we do have the base game red and white counters, which I did contemplate on using, but I thought we'll just do white. So I realised I'm talking really fast, I've just got way too much to say today apparently. So I decided to add a red fridge and a red oven because I thought it tied in the theme a bit better, and it had like silvery white handles on the fridge, so that seemed to tie in well. And I never had a black sink in the game, I don't think. They're always either white or gold or silvery coloured, but I thought we'd change it up a bit today. And the little bread box, I love that, with the rainbow on it, it's just so cute. And I found a red, I don't know what the word is, the thing you put your dishes on to dry. Never used a red one before, so I wanted to push the boat out today and make something in a colour I don't normally do, and I really liked it. I mean, I'd personally never live in a red styled home, but it still feels really cosy and like family orientated, which is obviously what I was going for, so I'm really pleased with how it turned out in the end. And those salt and pepper shakers I thought were really cool. So next we are moving on to the hallway. Again, I never really add too much to the hallway. There's not really much you can add in there other than a few backpacks and a couple of mirrors and a rug, which I didn't have a white rug this time in the doorway, which is shocker. We actually had like a burgundy one, which is a miracle because that never happened to me. So moving on to the main lounge living space. Now I found this seat from Bowling Stuff. I think it's a stuff pack. Was it game pack? It must be a game pack because you can play it from the bowling game pack, and I thought it was really cute. I don't think I've ever used it in any build ever, so I thought I'd try and tie it in with her kind of like designer-esque personality that I envisaged for her. And this wallpaper is so funky. I think it's from Decor to the Max kit, if I'm correct. But and the fact that it had a red option was ideal, wasn't it? But yeah, I really like this space. It feels really open yet homely, and I like how it feels. Like the vibe of the room is really nice. And of course that doll's house had to have a red roof, of course it did. So I decided to add a little nook in this corner for a desk and a computer, because I wasn't sure whether we'd have space upstairs, which good job I did add that there because I didn't end up adding in an office space upstairs, so that is their little desk, so your Sims can use that. This dining room that I'm working on now took me hardly any time, so it's not a very long clip, so I'm not going to say much about it, but you get the gist. I love those chairs. I still don't know what pack they're from, but they're really pretty. And the little rocking chair, I had to add one. I didn't have an infant or a toddler in this build, so I had to have something from growing together. It made me feel more at home with my new pack. My new pack. Our new pack. Getting way ahead of myself now, yeah guys. So now I'm moving on to the upstairs, and this is the parents' bathroom. And it's quite small, but I think it's big enough. I used a black mirror for a change instead of my usual glowing circular ones I always use. I swear, again, every one of my bathrooms looks identical, but it's fine. So this room that we're moving on to is the parents' bedroom. Again, with the red and white theme, I just really like it. It's like really simplistic, but it feels really fancy and royal to me. And the 4-poster bed, you can't go wrong with that really, can you? So, and that wallpaper, I absolutely love that wallpaper. So now we're moving on to the family bathroom. Now I found this little rug and I couldn't not add it. I found it when I was doing the downstairs and thought, well, I just have to put it upstairs and just leave it there, and I don't care what the bathroom looks like. And this bathroom really doesn't suit a kiddie rug, but I just love it too much. You can't not have a lady bird slash bug, whatever you like to call it, mat. It's just way too cute. So it's there for their daughter. Let's pretend, shall we? So now we are moving on to the first teens room. We have 2 teenagers, like I said, and one is very girly and the other one is gothic and likes everything black, so they're very different teens. I did struggle a bit with the colour scheme I wanted initially because I wanted it to be purple and kind of pink and trying to find colours that matched. The image that I had was quite difficult, but I thought it all tied together really nicely in the end. And the bedding matched with the curtains and matched with the wardrobe with like touches of mint green, which I always seem to have, or like an aqua blue. Is more of an aqua blue than a mint, that's the word. I couldn't think for a second then. So I added in some decorative pieces, I added in some makeup and guitar and some clutter from the high school years kit? Why do I keep saying kit? I'm so focused on the fact that they've got new kits coming out, but that's all I can think of. Did you guys see that, by the way? They've got 4 kits coming out in the next 2 months. Kind of 3, but let's hope it's in 2, eh? Have you got any idea what they might be? I mean, they're obviously family related, but I wonder what they'll be. I have absolutely no idea at all, but yeah, I'm just excited to see what they come up with, because everything they've made of recent has been like some of my favourite stuff ever they've created throughout all of their games, so I'm expecting big things in Steam. So we are moving on to the other twins' bedroom now, which is the gothic teens, as you might have guessed. I've never used this mirror before, ever, I don't think, but I think it suited this room really well. I didn't want to make it too dark in here, but I mean, it kind of turned up that way. Turned out that way. And I added in the chandelier to make it a bit more glitzy and glam, and some records of the wall, CDs. And my idea for this sim was that she really hates living in this house and she's like a real troublemaker, and she's always got all of her stuff packed and ready to go. So as you'll see in a minute, I had in a lot of suitcases and bags, and just as if she's like ready to run away from home at any second, and like the second she gets to go off to college, like she'll just be gone, which is kind of sad, but you know how some teens can be. And yet her sister's the complete opposite and just wants to stay at home with her parents. So yeah, I do like this room though. It's not my style at all, but I think for someone whose style it would be, it's pretty cool. So I hope anyway. I hope others think that as well, it's not just me. But yeah. So moving on to the final bedroom. Now this is the youngest daughter's room. I really love this bed. That particular swatch for the bedding I think is so cute. It's like something I would have had when I was like 4. I mean, I don't imagine her being that young, but I just think it's really cute. And I don't tend to use it because I don't really give my child sims like a double bed, but I wanted to use it, so lucky gal, I guess. And of course my high school years mirror. Can't do a build without one of them in it. It just has to be there. It's just my favourite mirror and it's just always going to be that way. So she's got a lot of decorative teddies there, and I love the little, what are they called? Octopus. Yeah. And these little flowers, they remind me of SpongeBob. Anyone else? Is it just me? I didn't even watch SpongeBob when I was younger, but you get what I mean. So I added some craft stuff and some toys for the decor of her room and some makeup that she's tested it out, and I just think it's really cute. I really love this room. It's just so cute and cozy. So I am coming to the end of my video soon, guys, and the music is going to go loud once the screenshot starts, so I'm just pre-warning you in the next like 10 seconds or so it will go quite loud. So I wish you all a wonderful day and I shall see you all next time. Thanks guys, bye.